wrestling thing. I told you I tried it, right?
Yeah, you told me a while back. Like, so what happened there? Like, where did you go and start training? Like, did your dad was your dad aware of it? Was he
Of
like,
course. I'll mark out. The guy follows me on social media, and we follow each other. And he's so interactive and just a lovely individual.
yeah,
But and I was like, wow, what is this? And I didn't even know my dad did that. I just knew my dad was strong.
yeah.
And I knew my dad would have bruises and I tried the wrestling thing. I told you I tried it, right?
Yeah, you told me a while back. Like, so what happened there? Like, where did you go and start training? Like, did your dad was your dad aware of it? Was he like,
Of course.
did he endorse it? Like,
Of
what was
course.
yeah.
So here's the deal. So my father, he trained my brother. My brother Ricky also fought pro for some time. And my brother Willie was just a street fighter. That's a story for another day. But I love the sweet science. I love boxing, and it was between boxing and wrestling, and I thought wrestling was cool. So my dad took me into the old Gleason's gym. You know Johnny Rods, right?
Yeah, I know him well. Yeah.
So Johnny Rods knows my father forever. Even now, I think of Johnny. Well, we saw each other on Facebook. The only reason I think he accepted my friend request is because I look just like my dad, and I think he realized it was me. So anyway,
he's a crack up man, Johnny.
Johnny's an awesome guy.
Yeah.
My father took me into a boxing ring because that's what they had then to learn how to take bumps. Yeah.
Yo.
I did it for a couple of weeks, bro, and I was like, this shit is hard, man. Now I have the ability to front roll, take back bumps. I know how to throw punches.
Yeah.
I can do the basics, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go this way. I like boxing better. And I this is gonna sound crazy, but I love the sweet science so much. I love boxing so much, and I took to it better than I think I would have. I don't know if I was, like my dad said, big enough. I felt kind of discouraged, at the time. And maybe he was just testing me. He never really told me why he discouraged me. Maybe he knew that there was really no money in it.
Yeah.
Or
maybe as well, like, because he's probably seen how the business was and also how cutthroat it was. And
it's always carny, bro. Always bullshit.
Yeah.
Always bullshit. And I tried it for some time, and it was hard, dude. It was really, really fucking hard. Running the ropes, people see the pro wrestlers, going back and forth, and the 3 steps across, 3 steps across, and it's just like, oh, it's easy. It's not fucking easy. It's like running through quicksand. You ever ran in the wrestling ring?
Yeah, I have.
All right, so describe me the first time and how weird it was when running in a ring that has a little give. There's the mat, and if depending on the quality of the ring, it could be a little loose and shit. It's not easy.
Bro, you trip yourself up. Like all right, funny story, right? Probably a few months back, I was on a show. I'm ring announcing, and one of the wrestlers had these tearaway pants on, but he couldn't get them off over his boots. So the referee's trying to help him. He's like, Piers, come give him a hand. So I'm like, all right, fuck it. I've done that. And like, I've helped him out. Now there's the ring is there. Then there's a stage. And then there was like a little platform just in between them. Right. So I've gone to try and step, dark show. My leg has gone between the platform. I've face planted in front of a room of like 250 people.
That's fantastic.
And the photographer comes running over. She's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah. I go, I just want everyone to leave now because I'm embarrassed as fuck. And she's like, it's first match. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And I stood up and it was like pop of the night.
Good, man. You got over, dude.
And yeah, like it was just like the laughing thing of the crowd. Like I just, next time I got in there, I was like, yeah, anyone else falling in front of 250 people? And everyone laughed. I was like, yeah, me neither. Anyway, let's go.
That's fun. Let me tell you something, bro. There's nothing wrong with falling. It's all about getting back up. Just, the fact that you got up and just continue to do your job. Not too many of these kids nowadays know anything about that. And let's get back on track to the original conversation about AEW and their fan base. I'm going to ask you a question, and this is so weird being on this side.
Yeah.
Like, because usually I'm so used to hosting and interviewing people.
Yeah.
By the way, one of my favorite interviews, and I know I'm going off track again. I had 2 of my favorite interviews. One of them was with JJ Dillon, who was
really,
yeah, man. I got to sit right in front of the man and just talk. And I remember when I first the first thing I said was, I said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sitting here in front of one of the greatest managers of all time, Mr. J.J. Dillon, Four Horsemen, right? And I gave him the mic, and he goes, I'm glad you said that. He goes, I'm glad you said I'm one of them, because, usually when I'm being interviewed, they say the greatest manager of all time, and that's bullshit. He goes, the greatest manager of all time is Bobby the Brain Heenan. You can actually find that on YouTube somewhere. If you type in Big Ray Hernandez and J.J. Dillon, you could probably find it. But it's pretty awesome, man. But one of my favorite interviews of all time was AJ Styles. At that time, he was the New Japan Pro Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion. And he, in fact, spent almost 2 hours with me, and at that time, my partner, Andre Corbeil, my Canadian brother. And he just talked about life and wrestling and his kids, and it was just so cool to see somebody who was at right there. I mean, he was almost at the pinnacle. This is just before he came to WWF. I mean, WWE, damn, that's the old school, WWE. And he gave us all that time, man. He was just such a cool dude. But back to the original conversation again. AEW fan base. I respect their passion. But it's kind of like, what are you fighting for? And this is the question I'm going to ask you, Piers. Why do people, knowing that something is failing, and we can get into politics, I don't want to get into too many politics, but like right now here in the United States, and I know in Australia, you guys are having a tough time there as well with a lot of, I'm trying to word this correctly because this isn't HMG, but let's just say ideology that maybe you and I both don't totally agree with, being forced down certain people's throats. And we know it's, and I think a lot of them even know it's wrong, but they still fight for it. Why? Why does AEW, why does that fan base, knowing that ratings are down, you got too many shows, your roster's too big, you have over 20 championship belts under one promotion. I know you can count ROH as AEW because it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same workers, but essentially, it's like, look, my take on it is, and I actually read an article that Vince did probably about a couple months back.
Vince McMahon or Russo?
No, Russo. Okay. And he was talking about wrestling marks and marks. Now, a mark could be someone who'd be like, you might be, you're from New York, so maybe you're a huge Yankees fan, for example, right?
I am.
You're a mark for the Yankees. Cool, right? But when the Yankees are playing like shit, you can admit and go, man, we're playing like fucking dog shit right now.
I just did that 2 days ago.
100%. Yeah. But like with AEW and wrestling marks, even if an angle's shit, the storytelling's not there, it's just basically shit content, they're still going to defend it.
Right.